You're watching Straight Black Love Talk with your host, DcRadical1, the home of intelligent, mature relationship conversations.
BB4OD and Straight Black Pride brothers and sisters. This is your host, DcRadical1, and this is SBL Talk. I'm waiting for my co-host to come back. Co-host this with the mostest. Are you back? You can give me a thumbs up. All right. She is here. And co-hostess, I need you to do me a favor, if you don't mind. I was going to ask you earlier, but you disappeared. Can you hold the show down for like 5 minutes? You sure? Okay. All right. I'm working on the last little bit of the slide. So you already know my situation. I'm not on point today, period, point blank. So I don't know if you could recap yesterday's show. Tell me what you think about that or whatever the case may be. And let me see who's in the building so far. Before they Straight Black Pride, brother Elijah. So I'll see if I can find some more people to come in here because I see that it's very limited audience thus far. Did you invite your people?
I did.
Okay. Well, I just put out the bat signal. I'll see if anyone shows up. But yeah, let me go and finish that real quick. You found that clip from an old center?
I did.
Yeah, I could only laugh when I came in here. All right, so I'm gonna turn it over to you, and then I'll be back shortly.
Sawa. All right. Karibu, everyone. BB Bahudi, brother Elijah, Straight Black Pride. To all my brothers and sisters coming in. Yesterday's show was Charlie Kirk, I believe, talking about how that's going to impact why it impacts Black people in our community, although it shouldn't, because really we don't got nothing to do with that. But because we, as a collective, have decided to integrate anything that happens on that side of the water is going to come onto our shore. I don't remember what the conclusion was. I know the topic was, what does it mean for the Black community? What it means for the Black community is we're going to have to continue to be on point. And some of us are going to have to be shocked into being on point, like the numerous people that have already lost their jobs because they said the wrong thing about the man's assassination, if that's what we want to refer to it as. We're still putting the pieces together on whether the call was from inside of the house or across the street or up on the building. It's kind of hard to tell, so much different information. Now, what I've been able to surmise, and from my own eyes and intuition, I think that we all know who the problem is, and the idea of it being somebody that got to his neck from way over yonder, I don't think that's the case at all. And I think that they purposefully made this whole situation sloppy so that they would be able to kind of prove to us that they do what they want to do. And they don't need to be on point. When I say they, we're talking about the juice, all different kinds of juice. All different kinds of juice. Anybody else that watched yesterday's show? Me and myself, I'm excited about today's show, but I've been instructed to hold down the fort until we get into the meat and potatoes. Not nobody else. Nobody's in here. We don't even got, brother, you got ripped off. Guess not. All right. I'll keep going with it. So yeah, I think the Charlie Kirk situation is, I feel indifferent to it, like I said, because that's not our fight. that's their side of the waters. We really shouldn't be even looking in that direction. We should be focused on ourselves. But being a disciple of Ma'at and always keeping balance at the forefront, I think it's important to note that the reason that people are rallying, like white and black people are rallying behind Charlie Kirk, is because he said a lot of the things that most are scared to say. And that kind of goes into today's topic of people being afraid to do and say what's right. Charlie Kirk was somebody that would go out and say, look, I don't care if you think that you're a man in a woman's body or whatever. You're not. That's a mental illness that you're dealing with. And whereas a lot of the things that he said were overtly racist, because he kept the same tone, a lot of people saw him as being diplomatic. So they saw him as, he's trying to give them the truth in a way that doesn't, disturb them. So whether it be that perspective or the perspective of, women and feminism, poisoning the minds and the souls of women, he would talk about that. A lot of the things that he would say about Black people come off as very, very Candace Owensy, very Kanye Westy, but honestly, it's sometimes things that need to be said in order to shake Black people and wake them up and get them back on track. It's unfortunate that we have to hear it from a white man. It's unfortunate that white man had to be excused from this plane the way that he was. It's sad to see, but this is the reality of the world that we're living in at this point. And so if it isn't something that's going to give you the heart to take initiative to protect your family, now I don't really know what else can be done outside of coming to your door personally and threatening to kill you. And it seems like that's what a lot of people are gonna have to do, or gonna have to deal with. You have to deal with the enemy literally coming to your door and threatening you specifically. And then you'll start to get a taste of what revolutionaries for generations are dealing with, which is the fact that you telling the truth means that you're going to be out. SSA, meaning that your community is going to turn their back on you because they don't want to suffer the consequences that you've brought onto yourself by being a truth teller. You're going to deal with a lack of financial support from wherever you're employed, from people on the streets, from family, from friends. It's just the reality of the situation that we've been dealing with for generations now. This is not new, right? So if we can recall the small hats taking all of the money out of Kanye West's bank account because of the things that he was saying on Twitter. That's really extreme, but that's what we've been dealing with. That's just a recent example of what we've been dealing with for a very long time now. So I don't know, people, we got to get it together. I don't know, I don't know what else needs to be done. We have to get it together. I myself, like I said, I'm indifferent. I don't know him personally. I just take and I do with the information. I organize the information. I put it where it needs to go. He said a lot of things that were outrageous when it comes to Black people. Notice the very last thing that he said before it happened. But he also said a lot of truthful things. And our people, as Baba Amos Wilson said, our people have a hard time with being absolutists, meaning that we are entirely, absolutely going to be on team A. And we don't care how much truth is coming from team B or team C. We're all for team A. That's a problem. If you don't have the ability to be flexible, to be dynamic, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to crumble and fall, because this world is not rigid like that. Truth oftentimes is not that rigid. You can be standing across from somebody looking down on the ground, and their perspective is going to be completely different from your perspective. Now, I would advise us to not be too flexible when it comes to our enemy, right? And understanding their perspectives of things. I would advise us to first start with our own people. So the divisions that we see amongst ourselves, we need to kind of be focusing on that first before we offer our flexibility and our compassion to any other groups of people. Let's start from within first. Abibi Tumi, Asafo, Abibi Fahodie, brother, you got ripped off. Asante Sana, brother Vincent. I'm scared to do brother and sister now, because I messed up one time and I called somebody brother. No, I called somebody sister. It was actually a brother. So I'm just, I don't know. I'm trying my best. We're still waiting on brother DC to basically do what he should have allowed me to do a few hours ago. If he had just allowed me to do it, we'd already be 16 minutes into the show. But, you know.
Excusez-moi. Pardon, madame. Mademoiselle.
I'm just saying.
Were you in the middle saying something?
I was.
All right. So look, let me say this, and then I'm going to dip back out and finish what I'm doing while I'm being vilified and pilloried out here. Your brother was not feeling well earlier today, right? Mm-hmm. But just like an NFL quarterback, just because I'm hurt doesn't mean I'm injured. So I had to step in, and I'm still here. I'm going to play the game. Yeah. Okay. I need the other team to kick off and get on the field first so I can get ready and stretched out and everything. But I'm here. That's all I'm saying. So give me a few more minutes. I know y'all enjoying the sister. She got her hair out and everything. Y'all don't get to see that often. She rocking a Garvey jersey and everything like that, trying to look fly and everything. So I know the brothers are enjoying it. But I'll be back shortly, and we can start the show. You may continue, my dear.
In response to that, just because you're here does not mean that we have the ball to play with. Nobody's doing anything if we don't have the ball. Nobody's kicking off or nothing. So, I mean, I feel like I've completely exhausted the Charlie Kirk situation, because quite honestly, we already discussed it yesterday. Everybody has already, like, that's the only thing we see online since it happened, and in detail too. That's, maybe we should talk about that. There's a lot of people saying, oh, we're not supposed to be seeing this, or the human eye was not made to consume violence in this way. And I hear you. At the same time, I disagree, because it needs to be a lot more violent, keeping it honest. I'm not trying to mess with the monetization or whatever, but you put me in charge and nobody's giving me any rules, so we're just gonna go for it. I completely agree that children should not be, like, his own children shouldn't have had to see, it go down like that. Random children on the internet should not know about somebody's assassination, vivid, detailed assassination. That's sure, I draw the lines there. But for these adults talking about, oh, we're desensitized, and I feel like most of us are soft. I feel like most first world peoples are soft. They do not take into consideration that the very phones that they're complaining about, like, oh, my phone is showing me these deaths and da-da-da-da. You're complaining about that, not even taking into consideration the violent deaths that occurred in order for you to have a phone. So the selective outrage blows me. To be honest with you, it really blows me. Brother, you got ripped off. There's a specific section. So not yet. We will get to that point, but not at this time. Does anybody agree or disagree with me? Has anybody ever thought that before? Like the whole idea of we shouldn't be watching people die on our phones. That's true, but people shouldn't be dying in order for us to have phones too. Do we think about that? Do we consider that like more than a few times a month or year? Do we ever consider that? I know a lot of people never consider that. I brought it up online the other day, the idea that the wealth in the DMV area is, so much so, and we have all of these millionaires, like Black families that are millionaires, and it seems great, but what about what's going on? I mean, we can go to Sudan and Congo, but we could also stay right here and talk about what's going on in this country amongst our community. And people were like, don't nobody care about Sudan and Congo, and Black people saying that. So I'm really fed up, to say the least. I'm very fed up with our people specifically. Going right back into what the theme of today's show is, which is accountability and cowardice. I created this long awaited title and theme today because I'm quite fed up with individual Black people in the Americas, but also the collective community of Black people around the world. I think that we are counting ourselves short. We are not taking into consideration the strength that runs through our blood naturally. We're not taking into consideration the wealth of resource that we have today when it comes to the internet, when it comes to the ability to, like, you can literally in a day's time go on Amazon and decide that and get started, working automatically. And yet still we have this I don't know, this anguish of not wanting to be not wanting to have initiative to fix the problems amongst our community. And I can see that a lot of people are fed up like me, and so I guess they've just decided to stop trying to do things in a productive way. It's just really sad to see. Brother Vincent says we must remember this is North America in full effect. North America in full effect with all its wickedness. And that's the God honest truth. That is the God honest truth. But as a traveled person, I want to make it very clear. The wickedness does not stop at the U.S. borders. It travels far up amongst where the Eskimos should to this day be, and far down into the Brazil and the Argentina and all of that where the penguins are. The evil is completely spread out throughout all of the Americas. The wickedness is not just in the Americas. We got a lot of wickedness going on in the motherland, which is why the urgency has to be recognized, and we have to do something tangible. Something tangible. It's very nice to curate awareness on social media, but it's not enough. Okay, brother, you got ripped off says, like that one that got toasted on the train. Toasted? I like toasted. That's funny. I watched multiple times because it amused me how easily he pulled that off. Now, I have not seen that. If we're talking about the same, if you're talking about the girl, if that's what you're talking about, would they say Russia or Ukraine or something like that? If that's what you're talking about, I haven't been able to see the entirety of that video. I only see the beginning of the video. He walks on, she walks on, they're sitting next to each other. He gets something out of his pocket, and then he comes behind her and goes like this. But it always just stops right there, which I guess they're trying to censor for people's eyes. Okay. But the reason I bring that up is because if he stabbed her the way that the video is proposing that he stabbed her, there's no way that the next frame would be her looking up out of like oh, what are you doing? Because if I was stabbed, it's not gonna nah, it don't work like that. It should be way more blood. It should be way more of a sense of urgency from her. It looks like to me that he hit her potentially, but the way they try and make it seem, that's another fishy one, where it's like all the details, I need a little bit more information before I can really, the jury needs more from that. Because the next thing too, if you listen to what he said afterwards when he was talking to the I guess the police officer that took him in, he was saying that the government took him and put something inside of him, and what they put inside of him is what made him do it. Now immediately I was like, oh, okay, you talking about the nanotechnology, you talking about the vax, VAXX. A BB548, brother Jarake. Cause yeah, that's something I've honestly in the back of my mind been waiting for, because they're not gonna do something and then not use it. In the same way that your country Israel said the other day that if you have a phone, you have a piece of Israel in your pocket. Remember what they just said, right? If they're saying that, but then I think it was last year, they had all of those pagers blow up selectively. Certain people's pagers blew up. I'm telling y'all, we acting like it's not a real life situation that we're going through right now. We really twiddling our thumbs. I guess just waiting for Massa to go on and do what he wants to do with us. But it's not gonna work out like that. Brother, you got ripped off said, I watched the full video on YouTube, and even the uncensored video happens in 2 to 5 seconds with no resistance from her. So yeah, sister, it is definitely fishy. I concur. And the person that says I'm bugging, you bugging.
BB48. Again, this is SBL Talk. I am your co-host, DcRadical1, along with my sister, Sister Najai. Sister Najai, do you have your Cashapp up? I don't have anything up. Y'all didn't even tell me. I don't have a banner up. I don't have any music playing. We just raw today.
We vibing.
So Sister Najai put together this presentation, and I was, doing my best. So I'm gonna let her introduce it and give us her thoughts on what she was, what inspired it. So go ahead, sister.
As I stated, I am fed up and exhausted with the state of straight Black love affairs. And so I thought that it would be best to follow up last week's show with something that balances the conversation out. Last week's show was the Great Black Wife Shortage. I believe that's what it was called, the Great Black Wife Shortage.
That's correct.
Okay. And it was very well put together. Lots of amazing points were brought up, and I disagreed with almost nothing that was said. But to really get a full context of the situation, I think we have to take into account one topic that a lot of people are talking about now, which is accountability. Accountability is probably, like, if you were to look on Google for the amount of times the word accountability has been brought up this year, I promise you is well more than what has been in previous years. Accountability has been like the hot topic, mostly in the direction of women refusing to take accountability even being avoidant or allergic to accountability. And that's just the truth. I'm not going to go against that. But to have a well-rounded macro level conversation, I think we also need to take into account the cowardice within our communities. So we present accountability and cowardice.
All right. As y'all know, we always start off with our straight Black Pride pledge. I don't know, sister, you want to do that, or I'll do it? It's up to you.
You
You
could
let me
do
know.
it. Yeah, I've been talking
All
30
right.
minutes straight now.
Thank you. You may go get yourself a glass of water while I do the pledge. All right. You can say after me or not, just read along. I pledge allegiance to my straight, Black, and proud ancestors and to the culture and traditions which they founded. I vow to practice those traditions of straight Black love, family building, and nation building to the best of my ability, using all my life's energy, intelligence, and creativity. I also vow to do everything in my power to protect Black men, Black women, and especially Black children from sexual abuse, homosexuality, exploitation, and miseducation, as long as I am mentally, physically, and spiritually able. Lastly, I vow to fight against any force, physical foe, ideology, or philosophy which threatens the straight, Black, and proud culture, regardless of origin. This I pledge in the name of my African ancestors and the divine creator, Ashe. So I always start this off the same way. I always keep the slide in. The cultural importance of marriage. In traditional African and traditional African American culture, marriage was an expected part of adulthood. In many African societies, you were not considered an adult if you were not married. The family was considered the foundational institution of the society. There was no debate about the equality of men and women, as each had their own jobs to do. And let me say this, because I've been saying this for 30 years, and I'm going to say it again. People don't understand the actual meaning of equality. People think equality or equal means identical. This is false. And I always give this example. A $1 bill is equal to 4 quarters, 10 dimes, and 20 nickels, and 100 pennies. However, if you have to do laundry at the laundromat only takes quarters, right? So you have to exchange your dollar for those 4 quarters. So they are equal in value, but they are not the same. What you can do with the quarters, you cannot do with the dollar. What you can do with the dollar, you might can't do with the quarter. It depends on the situation. So I always like to say that because we get very confused with the concept of equality, meaning sameness. It does not. Now, during enslavement, Black men and Black women will often escape and try to find their spouses and children, risking life and limb. Black people would buy their own loved ones with money that they earned and that they had saved up working quote unquote overtime to get money to buy their spouse's freedom. I always tell that because we need to understand the lengths that our ancestors went through to keep families together, regardless of any obstacle that may have come in our way. Now we do the opposite. We do everything we can to break families apart. Even when there aren't really any obstacles, we throw obstacles up. So we have been really turned backwards in reality. And we're all, well, maybe we're not all, but many of us are capable. Many of us have done that. You know, I've contributed some to that myself. You have anything to add, sister? All right. Now, this is the sister's slide, so I'm gonna let her take it from here, and I will interject when I feel the need to. All right, sister Najai, you can take it from here.
Please feel the need to and add comments along the way so we can keep it keep it rolling. Western society is overflowing with a lack of accountability from both Black men and Black women. This calls for a need to restore Black morality. Yes, brother.
Oh, you know what? And let me say this because I didn't mean to interject this quick. Um, the foundation of Western society is lies, and lies help to counter accountability. Right? Prime example. When, like, many people don't know this, when France invaded Egypt, right? One of the scientists, I think it was Champollion, saw the Sphinx. He saw the temples and everything. And in essence, I'm paraphrasing, he's like, oh my God, the people that we have been oppressing are the greatest people on earth, right? Because he saw the evidence. What people don't realize is instead of every that evidence going out before the world and everyone knowing, and then people like, oh my God, man, we're sorry, we didn't mean to do that. No, it just meant that they came up with a whole science to try to justify enslavement because they knew it was a lie. They knew what they were saying was a lie. They knew so-called sciences like pseudosciences like phrenology was a lie. They knew things like drapetomania was a lie. Like they made up a science to cover up the reality of what they found. So when we talk about the lack of accountability, it doesn't start with Black people because that's not our nature and that's not our culture. It starts with our enslavers and enemies. And it's like Dr. Africa said, we've become a heinous people because we've been captured by a heinous people. You have anything to add to that, sister?
I'm glad that you bring it up because that was the direction that I was going in. And me and you have discussed this prior to. There's a lot of blame put on the Black woman because the Black woman is the main one out here with her entire behind out looking a fool. But to hone in on the Black woman being the issue is to completely neglect the grand scale of the war front. And it also is kind of like you're trying as I said on the last show, if we're trying to make corrections, we have to make sure that we're doing it from the right place. And I understand a lot of Black women don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear correction and will often what they call gaslight. They'll turn it around and make it be a thing of you're the problem because you see her as a problem. That's not at all what I'm intending to do. I'm just trying to let y'all know if we want to get through this, there's a way that it's going to have to be done. And what we're doing today, what the men of today are doing, it's not going to cut it. Which brings us to our next bullet. Many men find solace amongst other men who call out narcissistic and selfish behaviors in modern women. Now, this is important. I'm glad that this is happening because what it's going to do is show Black women that like we calling you your bluff, basically. Like we know that you acting a behind and we're not going to take it no more. And I don't have to deal with it. I'm glad that that's happening, but I don't want this to be the last step because then it's just a whole bunch of men amongst each other talking down on women all day when somebody was the father of that woman. Somebody was the uncle, somebody was the grandfather, somebody dropped the ball and making sure that she as a little girl did not become this moral leper, because that's essentially what it is. Nobody wants anything to do with Black women because of moral leprosy. We don't want to deal with the person that's always lying. We don't want to deal with the person that's always like creating an energy of just flat out just negativity. I'm not even going to get into the details of it because that's we already know how it is out here. So the point is, I want for Black men to continue on this route, but make sure that while you over there with the other men, y'all start looking at each other, start sharpening iron, because we're not done. We're not just going to be like, you know what? It was the Black woman that was the problem. Let's just move on from the Black woman and let's let her like, nah. We got more work to do. So I'm glad at the direction that we're going in, but we got more work to do. Running behind. Yeah. So next up, many women run behind the weakest men so that they don't have to rise to the occasion of being the best version of themselves. And this is more of the same from the last bullet, which is narcissistic and selfish behavior. It is a woman that does not want to go to the gym with her man, or doesn't want to start taking the initiative to like meal prep and, you know, cook for the family. And you really kind of need to create a space that your family can thrive in. That means you're going to have to clean up sometimes, at least, you know, like we can't be living in filth, right? There's a lot of things that Black women have been made to, it's different levels to it. Some Black women have been made to see it as, oh, I'm not a maid, I can't clean up. And I'm sure we all can, well, I don't know, y'all are a different age group, but the younger groups might know that as a meme, right? I ain't no maid. That's the mindset now. I'm not gonna clean up. He need to be clean. Go ahead.
Oh no, sister, I was just gonna say, no, that's an outgrowth of the feminist rhetoric of marriage being slavery. You know that because I look at younger people podcasts and stuff, and they have conversations about making would you make your man a sandwich at midnight or 1 a.m. or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a hypothetical. And the women, of course, they just want to be rebellious. Like he can get his own sandwich, this and this and that. This is one thing I'm gonna say. This is true now. It's always been true. Women be telling lies. Men be lying, but women be lying too. And the main thing women be lying about is what they won't do. No, they won't do it for you because they're talking to you, but you're not the man. There is a man somewhere, right? Where it's Idris Elba or the dude down the street or the mailman. There is a man that woman will do anything for. You know what I'm saying? Like these women be talking about, oh, I wouldn't do that. Oh, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that. And then you find out that I can't even remember the girl's name in Baby Boy. You find out that her convict boyfriend is driving her car, eating up all the kids' snacks. You know what I'm saying? She buying them new clothes and everything. But she talking about she wouldn't make a sandwich. But she'd be the same one in the comments talking about she won't make a sandwich for somebody. Nah, you won't make a sandwich for the dude that worked a 12-hour shift. But the dude that just got out of jail, but he all shredded and ripped up because literally he ain't got nothing to do but lift weights all day. You make a sandwich for him at 1 a.m. standing on your head. You know what I'm saying? So we got to keep it 100 out here. People be telling lies. And I just wanted to put that on the table, man, because I just had to say it. You got to add to that.
Asante, yes. There's always the exception. And when it comes to women, you're absolutely right. We will make a lot of exceptions for the right one. As far as Black women choosing weak men, mind you, if you're choosing a weak man, you're gonna have a weak family and you're not gonna survive. Just off top. It is suicide to choose a weak man. It makes a lot more sense to do the work that needs to be done to better yourself so that you can survive. And I wanted to, on that note, mention what Brother Jarake said, which is a woman that doesn't want to go to the range or will shame the man for having firearms. This is most likely a delusional woman. This is most likely what we would consider to be a liberal or even a feminist. Because the whole thing of being against firearms, I don't even have the time to. What are we talking about? I don't have the time to go over that.
Shaming a man that you claim you want to be a protector for having firearms is true insanity. Like
Right.
because this would be the same type of person talking about how racist Trump's America is. You know what I'm saying? But you like, okay, if this place is so racist and you need protection and you scared and this and this and that, and then I come in here with AR-15 and you like, what is that? And I'm like, it's AR-15. You know what I'm saying? What it look like? You know what I'm saying? And you like, I mean, oh man, oh brother Rocket say talking about what you got all the muscles for. Hey, muscles can't repair bullets. I don't care how big. You know what I'm saying? Let's be realistic out here. Yo, that's crazy, but oh my goodness, y'all gotta stop me from. I just gotta laugh because I haven't felt well today, but you know, always enjoy SBL, especially now that the sister is on. But brother J Rocket got me laughing because what he's talking about, if women is saying that stuff is just absolutely ridiculous and hilarious. You can go ahead, sister.
Since we already off topic, Sister Tila, the white man's talking points, I would disagree because liberal is a word with a meaning. It's not just that the white man uses it and that's his word. So I disagree with that. Especially since Malcolm X was very, very specific in calling out the liberals. So because he used the word liberals and said we need to stay away from them, I myself am also going to use the word liberals and make sure that I stay away from them. And I didn't say Republicans, I said feminists, but we can use that too. All of them. It all is the same thing. Last one. Accountability starts with self-mastery, being brave enough to tell the truth, even when it challenges your ego or social status. I wanted to combine the concept of accountability and cowardice so that we can all feel like we're on the same page or standing in the same tile, right? We're playing the same game here. If you have an issue with taking accountability, 9 times out of 10 is because you're a coward. You can't take it on the chin that you messed up. You were wrong. And so now you have to go through the process of this is what it feels like to be wrong. Now I would implore women to you need to be wrong so that you can see how your man is going to treat you when you're wrong. Is he going to be the type to like dance on you and you know, and is it going to be out of fun or is it a malicious thing? Does he really love you? Does he like to just see women be wrong? Is he going to now try and belittle you? Like it's all part of life. So you trying to avoid accountability, you're missing a lot of quality life points and information that, you know, can be beneficial to you. And I want the men to understand accountability or lack of accountability being cowardice, because then you can maybe start to see your woman in a different way. She's avoiding it possibly because she's scared. I'm not excusing her lack of accountability in whatever way that means, but I just want you to see that maybe this is not the warrior woman that you need her to be. Maybe this is not, you know, the relationship that you can be in, not only because she's acting like a little kid right now, avoiding accountability, but also because she can't be mature enough to do what needs to be done in the moment that it needs to be done. Yes, brother.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask, what would you say the root of that fear, or where would that type of fear come from to make someone not want to accept accountability?
It goes to, I mean, in my opinion, it goes to the ego. It's going to hurt the ego. And a woman who is in her mind trying to prop herself up so that she's chosen, why would she want to then take a step back and admit defeat? You know, and there's all different kinds of dynamics to it, because there's a lot of relationships where the two man and woman are actually in competition, which is wild, but that's something that happens. And so she could feel like, oh, I can't lose to him because, you know, he was wrong last week in an argument. I want to make sure that he knows that he's wrong, and all kinds of foolishness and things like that. So there's a lot of reasons, but I would sum it up easily to it just being an ego thing. But I'm sure it could be a grander discussion.
Okay. No, that point you made about competition. There, I say a lot of that on the internet, and it's weird to me because I never seen it anywhere else before the internet started. Now, maybe if it was going on and I didn't know it, you know what I'm saying, I just missed it. But this thing of like you see women with the prime example is women in the educational statistics, and they throw that around and try to prop it up as if they are, educationally more accomplished than everyone, which is false. I mean, the data does not say that. I don't know who started that lie. And that thing has jumped up and ran, and the truth hadn't even woken up yet. You know what I'm saying? That thing is running around the block. But I would say it if it were true, it's even more shameful. Because if that's the case, why our communities look like this? If everybody's so educated, everybody's so smart, and everybody's making so much money, why does our communities look like this? Why are our children? If you're so smart, why are your children illiterate? Right? In fact, most adults are illiterate. So I don't care how many degrees you got. Man, when I saw the educators in college talking about how poorly the writing and math skills are of the people coming into college, I just look at it and I'm like, are they doing in college what they used to do in high school, where you just pass people because you're tired of looking at them? You know what I'm saying? People probably not, and well, maybe they still doing it in school, but people not old enough to remember those days. But you mess around, you get to fifth grade, and there's some dude that look like an adult in there. You're like, who the hell is he? You know what I'm saying? Because he done stayed back 2 times. He's supposed to be in seventh and eighth grade. You in fifth grade, he's starting to grow a mustache and whatnot. Y'all sitting up here doing the same math problems because he can't get it right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I just wanted to comment on that.
Yeah, No Child Left Behind did not stop in public school. It ran right into college as well. They get pushed through just the same. I'll leave it at that. Would you like to move on to the next slide? Or are we done here? Any comments, questions,
Uh,
concerns?
yeah, no, the self mastery part is interesting because when you were saying being brave enough to tell the truth, sometimes you have to be brave enough to tell the truth to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I for myself, I remember when I looked at myself on video, I was like, okay, this is out of control. Like an outfit that I was wearing just was like, I mean, being completely honest, like if you bought some of my old videos, um, well, no, actually I was in somebody else's video, but I was like, man, I look pregnant right here. This is insane. This I can't. What's the song with Kanye West and Dilated Peoples? I can't live my life this way. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all know that song this way. It's a banker. It's be cranking, but nah, the chorus is I can't live my you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I can't live my life this way. And looking in the mirror, it's just like, bruh, you look like you're about to explode. It's like this. You know what I'm saying? Just looking like roly poly. And I just like, nah, I gotta do
Okay.
something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Um, I forgot who it was that said that joke talking about talking to yourself. He's like, yeah, I was talking to myself. I said self, and then he's like, huh? And that's sometimes that's what you got to do. Yeah, you got to do like Michael Jackson and then talk to the man in the mirror and straighten it out. So I just want to bring that up. You know, as you can tell, I'm in a halfway jokey mood, even though I'm serious. So yeah, now we're finished with this
Well,
slide. You may
oh,
continue.
I was gonna say before you move on, I'm glad that you brought up accountability starts with self and looking in the mirror, because if we really analyze the state of most of our women today, looking in the mirror is only associated with fixing, quote unquote, what's in the mirror on the exterior level, not on being able to look at yourself for who you are without makeup, without the weave, without, anything. Just looking at yourself, appreciating what God is giving you. The beauty that you have starts from within. And unlike some people, I do believe that no matter how many mistakes you've made, depending on the mistakes, right? Because we don't want no minor attracted peoples, men and women. That's an immediate for me. But if you look in the mirror as a Black woman and you don't immediately like what you see, you can keep trying. And it doesn't have to be that it's just over for you because you already messed up and had children with somebody that is not worthy. It's not over for you just because you have soiled your body in whatever way. It's like everybody has a plan, and not everybody's plan of action is going to be the same. God has created us to be dynamic peoples all together. So self-mastery is going to be your personal journey, but you have to make sure that you know what principles you're mastering yourself to. You have to know the values that you're attaching yourself to. Otherwise, you're going to look like the people that think that yoga makes you a better person. It doesn't. Yoga is not the determining factor of your character. It isn't. And I don't know like what white person got you to think that that's how that works, but that's not how that works. So first and foremost, you need to like culturally identify yourself. Are you an African woman? Are you an indigenous woman? What is the morals? What are the principles that you're, going to not only invest yourself into, but also pass along to your children? Then we're on the journey to self-mastery. Then we're doing something. But until you like start that, you kind of just going in circles, and it's going to be difficult for you to actually feel like you're achieving something. So I wanted to add that in there before we move on.
Oh, okay. I thought you did we hold on. This is the next slide, right?
I didn't make the slides.
I think I actually okay, no, here we go. My bad. Go ahead.
Okay, so this was supposed to be capital letter CAN. So it's like, can we all get along? It's a serious question. I don't know that the answer is yes or no. Can we all get along? Domestic violence. Black women aged 25 to 29 are 11 times more likely than white women in the same age group to be murdered while pregnant or in the first year after childbirth. To me, we can talk all day long about accountability and women choosing the wrong man and all of that, but it still is going to be that was a coward at the end of the day. He's a coward because even if the woman was complete trash, like she was terrible during the pregnancy, and then she had the baby, she started abusing the baby, and even if she was just the complete worst baby mama story you could ever think of, you killing her is not the solution. It's not. That's the cowardly way out, because you're stronger than her. You feel like you could just quick cut, delete her, and then now, no, that's not the solution, because now mother and father are gone. What happens to the baby? You're not leading the family. You already weren't leading the family because you chose the worst baby mom in the world, but still the point is set. That's a coward. We could say accountability, but we can also say that's cowardice. Moving on. 50%. Oh, no, something else?
No. Before we get past that, when I saw that statistic, I was dumbfounded. Like, that's to me anyway, it's so shocking. But even though you see these stories, and I don't see a lot of them, but I do see them. Um, it's just I don't even know. I was left speechless. I'm still speechless. I really just don't understand. We got like it's there are people that should not be together, and I'm gonna tell you what I think happens a lot of times when you're young. What happens a lot of times is you can be so physically attracted to somebody and so sexually enamored with them that it literally throws your equilibrium off and you become mentally out of balance. Like we don't like to talk about that part. You know what I'm saying? And a person that you caught up in like that, things that they say may trigger you in a way that if any other person on earth says them, you don't even really respond. And really when you get in that type of situation, hopefully you can recognize and think to yourself, I'm me and this person don't this can't we can't coexist before the child situation. Because once the child is here, you have to deal with the person either way. But that number is just it's just outrageous. Like I don't know what we need to do. Like obviously families really need to tune in to those situations where the women, the young women are pregnant and they in these relationships and stuff. And be voted brother Tony and really be tapped in because that's a time where the women are most vulnerable. And yeah, it's just shocking. And allow me to tangentially go somewhere else with this, right? Because I saw something today that was just like mind blowing. So I've never heard of this person, right? There's a singer named David. Does anybody know who this dude is? It's spelled D. It's like D4VD, right? It's stylized David. Says Najai, you are you familiar with him?
Not
Oh,
enough.
I mean, he's a young dude. He's like 20 years old. So apparently, this dude 2 years ago or whatever, when he was 18, was messing with like a 13-year-old Mexican girl. They done found the girl's body in his abandoned car. So the preponderance of the evidence says that he did it. I'm gonna just say this for parents. I'm not a parent, so y'all probably gonna disregard what I'm saying. Sister is a parent. I don't understand how, and I've seen it before, right? Okay. And I don't understand how y'all can know that your daughter, 13, 14, 15, 16, that some grown dude in a Tesla, you know what I'm saying, or a Dodge Charger, you know what I'm saying, or Corvette, is pulling up and picking up and dropping your daughter off, and you don't have no questions. I don't understand how that works. I'm being completely honest. I don't understand how you get a notice that your daughter was picked up by some grown man from school and you ain't got no questions. So again, this is not a black female child, but still we're in it because a black male young adult has apparently deleted this girl for reasons. And they when they get the evidence, they're gonna throw him underneath the bus. And his life is over before it even starts. But his life really should have been over because why are you messing with a 13-year-old? Because they was last time they saw her was a year ago. So he's like 20 now, which means he was 19 then. They didn't just meet, so he probably was 18 and she probably was 13. What are we doing out here? I don't even, yeah, I blame him. But my thing is, what are the parents doing? If your child is, and look, let me say something. I know I've totally gone off the rails, right? But we talking about cowardice. How are you too scared to defend your 14, 13-year-old daughter when you see some grown dude pulling up in a Tesla? That's all I'm saying. What's more cowardice than that? As soon as you ring the doorbell, like, hey man, who the hell is you? You know what I'm saying? If you're not delivering a pizza, man, get the hell up out of here. And I ain't ordering no pizza. Like this is to me, this is crazy. I don't, like now, and I'm gonna say this: I've seen this in single mother households, and I'm gonna keep it 100. We don't like to talk about this. A lot of people in the hood, right? A lot of women in the hood, if they, especially if they got multiple children, if they can in essence pawn their daughter off on an older man and he'll take care of her, and he buying her clothes, he buying her shoes, and she can stay at his house sometimes so she don't have to deal with all the children, they take that deal, right? Let's keep it 100. This happens in our community every day. It just so happens that it's tangentially connected to our community because the boy is from our community, but the girl ain't. But I've seen it in our community, and I ain't talking about yesterday. I'm talking about I've been seeing it for 30 years, right? Nothing. I mean, it's a lot of crazy stuff, but nothing is crazier than seeing your girl who's younger than you, old boyfriend who's 10 years older than you, and you looking around like, wait a minute. Who's that grown dude? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is he? That's your ex. What? That's a grown dude. I'm 19. That dude looked 30. What? You're 17. What is happening right now? You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to bring that up because when we talk about when people sit around and talk about, oh, I do anything for my children, you're a lie. You're a lie. You won't protect your children from homophobia. You won't protect your children from pedophilia. You won't protect your children from experimental um, medical devices. I mean, you won't protect your children's mind from degeneracy and savagery. You won't protect your children from white nationalist propaganda. Man, we're not protecting our children from anything. So, my bad, sister. I know I totally went off course, but nah.
You're right on point. You're right on point with it. Because it's all cowardly behavior. And as far as the parents go, I think that we're a few generations into the concept of selling your children's essence off. Because that's what you do when you send them to public school and you send them into this society and the workings of it. You're selling their essence off. You're basically saying that your child is not going to be one of the great minds that sets up for the new world, for the African world order. It won't be your child because you sold your child off to Yale. So the you brought up a valid point of the single moms, but fathers as well will be more than happy to just get their child off of their hands. Somebody else will pay for the room and board. Great, I don't have to do it. So I'm glad that you brought that up. It's a valid point.
Oh, and let me add to that. When you talk about the fathers do it via the sports industrial complex. You know, the AAU and all that. The kids go off to the AAU basketball and all this stuff, and you're going all around the country and you're doing all that, and you ain't, the coach becomes the second father. And then when he come home, your son come home with some Uruguayan female, and you looking at him like, we don't do that in this house. And he's like, man, you can't tell me nothing. Coach told me that this is what I need to get a bigger contract or to go to a better school or whatever the case may be. And now you're sitting here looking crazy. So it ain't just the women. Sometimes it can be a two-parent household, but like you said, they still willing to make that deal for money or prestige or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We said less than 2 hours. good luck with that. Okay. Next one is 50% of Black Americans have never been married. Does that say 50? It sure do. The average divorce rate for Black marriages is 30.8%, slightly below the national average, which isn't saying much because the nation is the United States of America, which is built on chaos and confusion and Yurugu ethics, which means that they're going to be anti female, which means that they can't possibly have, a harmonious marriage. So that's not saying much, us being below the average. Saying that to say, is it possible that we can all get along? At this point, it don't look like it. Next one. In 2021, the divorce rates were 24.5% for Black women and 22.6% for Black men, significantly higher than other racial groups. These statistics are linked to broader trends of lower marriage rates, later ages of marriage, and systemic disadvantages affecting Black communities. Tying back into, can we all get along? Even when we try to get along, it is systemically against us to be able to actually get along.
Yeah, you got a question coming to you from Copper Me number 9.
What? That's interesting. My name is Najai.
Sister, because I looked at this, I looked at this statistic and I got a little confused. Can you clarify the last one as far as like the divorce rates? Because I was trying to figure out, is that the first marriage or how did that work?
I don't have any more information than what we have on the screen here. I would assume that that's first marriage. I don't know.
Okay, well, I mean, you put it in there, and I copied it, so I didn't ask
more than
before.
what you got. That's all I got. But the overall point was we have a hard time getting together in the first place. Staying together is a whole nother fight. Just because you got married don't mean you at the top of the mountain. You still got a long way to go, all the way up. And we, like it says, systemically disadvantaged. Black love is systemically disadvantaged.
Man, I just thought about it. It's a clip that I wanted to use from Bob Baruti where he talked about manhood. And I guess I'll save it for another time. But yeah, I think the most disappointing thing for me that I've seen since I come back into the community is seeing people who know the attack that we're under and they're still not able to make it all the way through as a couple. I've seen it, multiple times, and I'm gonna be honest. The men took it more, not the men in a relationship, the men in the community were more disheartened by it than the women. And I think it was because the men whose relationships weren't able to endure were looked up to by the men. You see what I'm saying? And it's just something that I think you have to reinforce every day in your relationship, that we're in this together and we're at war and we're on the front lines, and that this formation, this cadre, this revolutionary council cannot defeat itself. You see what I'm saying? I think that's like, in fact, I would even say that would be a mantra that of something like that should be stated to each other every day, so that you don't get confused about what it's about. Yeah, it's about love, and like you want to love your partner and you want to be attracted to them and you want to, hang out with them and laugh and do stuff and enjoy activities together. But it's also about survival of our people. And I think sometimes in the heat and the emotion of relationships, we forget that purpose, right? And I'm not talking about Negroes. I'm talking about Africans, African people, revolutionary African people, warriors and warrior scholars and stuff. I think sometimes we forget that, and we get in the heat of battle. And the men in this part, I think, maybe I'm not 100% sure, but at this part, I think men sometimes have a tendency to misdirect anger in times of stress. You see what I'm saying? Where Urugu is the problem. Let's say Urugu is a problem at work. You got to remember to not bring Urugu home with you. You got to leave Urugu in your car, even if you got to sit in your car 15 minutes, or leave Urugu on the bus, or if you got to, like you got to sit in the yard and meditate, or whatever you got to do. You got to leave that outside the door. You can't bring that into your house. And I think that's something that a lot of brothers forget sometimes. I think, and sometimes with sisters, I think one of the issues that'll come in is like, if you got a brother that's a warrior and the community needs him a lot, so he has to, so people may call him at any time of the night. Hey brother, can you do so and so? Hey brother, can you help me with this? Hey brother, can you give me some advice on that? Sometimes the women feel neglected, but you have to understand, you chose a warrior that's needed in the community. By definition, you are to some degree going to have to share him with the community, right? Now, that doesn't mean he should be neglecting home. No, I'm not saying that, because if you neglect the home, you are not. Your duties at home is part of your revolutionary work. But at the same time, sisters can't get so selfish that anytime the brother got to go to a meeting or go speak or go help an elder or go, you know what I'm saying? Anytime he got to do the work, you trying to be an impediment to him doing the work, because he got to have a discussion with you for why he got to walk outside. You see what I'm saying? That's an issue too. Be before they straight black pride, straight black side. So go ahead, sister.
I'm gonna add into what you're saying. I think it was Baba Baruti or maybe even Mama McKinney that mentioned that every African family needs to have a mission statement. And this is something that you all should be, if you're serious about the brother, the sister, the complement that you're trying to create, you need to have a mission statement well prior to marriage. It shouldn't be now we married, now let's be serious. No, like if we was gonna be serious, we should have been being serious from the get-go. So yeah, mission statement. And what you mentioned about leaving your Rugu at home, that's a valid point. That's something that we've been dealing with for a while. But it is on the woman as well to understand that the man is going out into the war front. And I think that is one of the slides that we're coming up. So I think we're done with this one. We're moving on to the next one now. Let's see what you said. Oh, okay, part 2. I thought okay. Part 2 for can we get along? Spiritually attuned, strong Black women are sometimes labeled too masculine, witches, feminists, and I've even recently heard Amazons, like trying to say you're just big and tall and just manly, just too much. Yet these labels obscure the real challenge. Brother, could you mute yourself, please? Actually, I can do it myself. Something. These labels obscure the real challenge, which is a lack of strength in our men and a Uruguayan fear of women. So when we say strength, I'm not talking about muscles. I'm talking about spiritual strength, the spiritual strength in our men. You coming in contact with a woman that's spiritually in tune and a leader in her community, you shouldn't look at her and be like, oh, she thinks she a man. Why would it be that? Why is it not, mirroring yourself to be like, am I a strong enough man to be able to match her energy? If not, I need to look at myself and see how, let me get back on my game. Like, clearly I'm not leading the way that I need to be leading. That's something that really grinds my gears.
Not to cut you off, sister. Hey, brothers, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. She a handful, brother. I'm gonna tell you. I know she be talking soft out here. She be, she be mesmerizing y'all, and she be acting all sweet and innocent and everything. Hey, man, this one here's a handful, man. She don't like them folks, and she gonna tell them. So you got to be on guard. That's all I'm saying. All right, sister, you may continue.
I'm gonna tell them, and I'm gonna watch how you act around it. Because if I tell, what was it we were going? What was it that we was waiting on the bus? Me and brother DC going somewhere, museum or something, waiting on the bus, and a white man came up and started asking. He wasn't even asking for directions. He was trying to tell us where to go. Mind you, this is brother DcRadical1. So he already knows I've been new. So why he think he got the authority to come and tell me something? Absolutely bewildering. And so I don't remember exactly how it went from there.
I would be honest. I was too busy trying not to bust out laughing. That's all I was trying to do. Because she looking at this Yurugu like, sir, if you don't move your, what along, get the, what out of my face. So I'm just trying not to laugh. It was funny. It took all my self-control. She wasn't helping at all, but.
And I didn't even say nothing. That's the wild thing. So I'm a lot, but I literally didn't say anything.
But the look you gave him was like, oh boy. Anyway, but no, this is what I was getting ready to ask. Which of these things have you been called by supposed warriors or pro-black dudes or whatever they may call themselves?
Well, you know what? Now that you put that stipulation on it, I have been called a feminist recently, which is wild. I was called a witch recently, but it was not a pro-black warrior man, and so the weight of the accusation is not as much, but it's still just the fact that there's men that will use that to like belittle a woman. So yeah, too masculine. I get that a lot. I do.
Really? I don't. That's wild. It's so funny you say that because I remember a long time ago. I was talking to this sister. I didn't even actually know her, but we, for whatever reason, kicked up conversation, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I said a lot of dudes be talking about, these women are masculine. I said a lot of times you're not irradiating, and man, you're not irradiating enough masculine energy. You know what I'm saying? To put her in check. I said, and that's what the part they don't get. And she just start laughing and like, oh my God, I ain't ever thinking about that and this and this and that. And she just took that and just ran with it. She just had a good old time that made her day. But I mean, sometimes that's the case. Sometimes you just gotta look at a sister and be like, yeah, okay, I know you're strong and that's cool and everything. However, there's only one person wearing the pants right now. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully, you can relax. We'd be all right. I got this thing. Chill. When I need you, you'll know. But Yeah, calling a woman a witch in 2025 is wild to me. Like, what?
Well, it's validity to it. It's validity to it because there are a lot of self-proclaimed witches. That is a real thing, and they're coming from all different categories. So we have Black women that are studying and quote unquote practicing to be Wiccan witches, which would be white witches, and then we also have Black women that are studying and practicing African spirituality and intermixing it with the concept of witchery and all of that. So yeah, that's a real thing for sure. But it's just the fact that you can call me that just because I was right a little too many times. And that's really what it ultimately comes down to, is that to be highly favored can come off as like you must be cooking up something in the cauldron behind closed doors. But no, it really is just that God loves me that much. I don't know what to tell you.
Uh, yeah, I don't even know what to say, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of times, a lot of the times, man, dude's just softer than charming. That's all. That's all I can say. A lot of times people, they feel threatened by our sisters or whatever, and I'm just like, those of you who know me, y'all know how much I like sisters. Maybe a little too much, you know what I'm saying? But I enjoy sisters' company. I enjoy having them around. And you know, just because a sister is strong or whatever, that don't mean she's disagreeable. Now, some sisters are just disagreeable. You know what I'm saying? That's a totally different. That's a totally different thing. But if a sister is strong and intelligent, and why wouldn't you want that around? Why wouldn't you want an intelligent Black woman around? Malcolm X talked about that. He said, "Who basically? I don't know if he said it this directly, but he said something to the effect of, who wants a dumb woman? You know, wants to come home from work and not be able to
Seriously.
have an intelligent conversation, right?
Seriously.
They don't play them Malcolm X clips. You know what I'm saying? But that's what he said. You know what I'm saying? And then he went on. Of course, he was in the mosque at the time. He was saying, telling a woman, pick up a book, study the lessons. He said when the man come home, he wanna talk about what I'm saying? He want to talk about Yakub. He want to talk about splitting atoms, and he want to talk about, I'm saying, the solar system and the circumference of the earth. He don't want to talk about baby needs some new shoes. And when he said that, I just started laughing because it was funny, but it was real because, okay, that's the field of study he was in at the time, right? As he developed out of that, he would still say the same thing. It would just be something different. He would want to, when he would come home, he would want to talk about what's happening in the Congo, what's happening, in today's time, what's happening in the Congo, what's happening in Sudan, what's happening with this Charlie Kirk thing. What you know what I'm saying? If a sister doesn't have any intelligent takes on the issues of today, what y'all supposed to do? Just stand there and look at each other? I mean, okay, you look good. All right, cool. All right, I registered that in my brain. All right, what else you got? You know what I'm saying? So dudes who fear Black women's intelligence and spiritual power, they not in their masculine. That's what I'll put it. So go ahead, sister.
Yeah, not in their masculine, and specifically within their cowardly Yorugan fear, because Yorugu denies women, not the African man. Next up, swirling. Swirling is disillusion and denial. This is not what I said. I said disillusion. This says dissolution. Possible I spelled it wrong, but either way, I wanted it to say
No,
this.
I probably spelled it wrong. I'll take that. I'm more than sure that because I was rushing and I was talking to somebody. So yeah, I probably messed it up. But go ahead.
Okay, fine. Disillusion and denial. A Black Messiah will not be born from a white womb. It's not going to happen. White men cannot solve the Dinkelberg problem for Black women, and they should be avoided like the plague that they are. I'm going to read it one more time.
Okay, because I was going to ask you about the Dinkelberg problem, but now go ahead.
One more time for the Umar effect. Swirling is disillusion and denial. A black Messiah will not be born from a white womb. White men cannot solve the Dinkelberg problem for black women, and they should be avoided like the plague that they are. The Dinkelberg problem is another way to talk about the problem we all face, and a wonderful book by Brother Irritated Genie Ayo Kimati.
Oh, okay. You talking about the little tiny hat issue? All
Yes.
right.
It's not a little issue, but it is a hat issue.
No, I'm saying the hats are little.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find them rolling around on the ground. But hey, no, Bob Marley came from a black woman, brother. So
Or a black.
I,
I have to specify. There is a difference amongst the mulattoes. Whenever people start to get over the sensitivity of talking about the mulatto problem, we are going to have to discuss the difference between a black child that's born from a black womb with a white man versus the child that's born from a white womb and a black father. It's two different things that are occurring when we have those children. It's two different things, and a white womb is not going to produce a black Messiah. It's just not.
yeah, and I make the argument that as great as Bob Marley was, he was also no black Messiah because he couldn't lead his children to back to blackness. They're grafting themselves back to devil.
Surely
Many of them.
he couldn't
So
control his what his father's issue was, which was you need to control your seed. You out here having all
oh yeah.
these children just, creating broken homes. And that might be a cultural thing for the Caribbean. I don't know. But, that ultimately is going to come down to the fact that he's acting as his father, whether he was there or not. Like you said, your genes, what did you say? Character runs through the genes.
Yeah. Yeah. In essence. Um yeah, the swirling, I see so much of it now. And I see so many of our young sisters. I saw today when I was waiting for you to finish this up, man. I saw a couple of young sisters, and I'm just like, all I can do is sigh. It's like we're just running headlong to death and destruction. And it's, sad and tragic, But you say, can we coexist while building accountability, morality, and unity? Only if we have the mission to coexist while building accountability, morality, and unity. You see what I'm saying? Like, it has to be part of the mission. If it's not, then we can't do it. And I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy. It's hard. But it's sisters that I've known in the movement for uh 10 years. And we can coexist. They're great sisters, wonderful. But the thing is, we're united in the fact that I know 100% that they're doing the work and that I can count on them to do the work if I can't count on them to do nothing else. And that goes a long way. And my level of respect for them is it's really unlimited. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they've shown me nothing but the highest character and shown me nothing, giving me no reason to disrespect them in any way, shape, or form, or to even allow them to be disrespected or allow anybody to say anything bad about them.
Right.
So you can add on anything to that you like, sister.
That's it. We can move on to the next slide. I will say I don't think there was anybody that made comments on the last slide. I'm going back. Okay. Double standards. You kind of already explained this earlier when you said that there's a difference between 100 pennies and 4 quarters. We are equal. We are not identical. A woman's place and a man's responsibility are not identical, but our worth in securing sovereignty is equal. A woman has a role in securing sovereignty, just as a man has a role in securing sovereignty. We will not be doing the same thing. We can't do the same thing. Otherwise, we're stepping on each other's feet. How you in the kitchen? I'm in the kitchen too. I try to be funny.
Well,
We can't, cook
no,
together.
I'm laughing because when I was growing up, when Thanksgiving time came around, you better not come in that kitchen unless you coming in there to steal a biscuit and run out. You know what I'm saying? As a man, that's all we can do. We come in there, it's still a biscuit, or still a piece of chicken, or a sliver of ham or something, and run away like a little kid. But no, you can't come in there. You can't contribute nothing to that unless you in there to take out the trash and take it, and then take that out the back door. You don't even go back the way you came. So I mean, you just reminded me of that when you said that, sister.
It's the truth. Next one, lift every voice and sing versus tone down. This goes back a little bit to the last slide. When black warrior women lift their voices with power, they are asked to be quieter, softer, more acceptable, even by the men they are fighting to protect. This goes right back with what we were just talking about, of you calling a woman masculine because she's trying to enact the lioness that's going to protect not only herself, but her babies and the community at large. It's two opposing, like, what do you really expect of women that are being beaten down? You're supposed to just lay down and take it until you, as the black man, decide that you're strong enough to fight against the enemy? No. Clearly, black women are not going to just sit around and wait for the black man to get it together so that we can fight this enemy, because that's not what's been happening. If that was the case, we wouldn't have a Mama Ida B. Wells. We wouldn't have a Mama Fannie Lou Hampton. Okay? We already have gotten on the same page. We're going to have to do this together. So you, as a black man, you can't look at black women that are in the fight and start to, criticize them for being too manly. You need to man up. Anyway, next one, warrior women are let me do. Warrior women are often left behind, overlooked, and protected by no one.
So, sister, tell us how you really feel then. You know what I'm saying?
Why you have the laugh track in the background when you said it, though?
And that was fairly coincidental. Where I'm at, these people are very loud. I don't know what's going on.
No, but seriously, I speak for myself, of course. Absolutely. But I'm not only speaking for myself. I'm speaking for other women in the movement that are stronger than me, louder than me, more well-read than me. More like there are so many of us that get beat down or looked down on and told to tone it down, told to keep quiet, told to, like, this energy of me as a warrior woman, I need to be quiet so you as a cowardly man can feel good about yourself. No, it's not going to happen like that. You're going to have to man up, or you're going to have to go away. Man up or sit down. Those are your only options at this point, because we moving forward. Babylon is crumbling, like, as we speak. We're not going to sit here and act like we got another year or two to, put our heads down and try and get it together. No, it's happening now. It's happening right now. And we need to lift every voice and sing. It wasn't only lift the strongest men's voice and sing. It's lift every voice and sing. That includes the women that are more than capable of intellectualizing what it is that's going on, and being able to tell people what needs to be said. So yeah, I speak not just for myself, but yeah, that's how I feel. You want to go to the next slide, or we got more?
No, we're gonna go to the next slide because you done said what you had to say. So we're gonna move forward, like you said. All right. Yeah, I'll let you take this one.
Okay, I got a question. a lot of times the conversation men will have of saying like, oh, she needs to understand that I gotta leave the house so I can bring back the bacon and the bread and the this and the that. But I ask you, are you leaving the house to be a man, or are you leaving the house to dance for the man? Or off chance now, because it's the world that we in, are you leaving the house to dance with men? Period. Are you a male gigolo? We don't know anymore because you're leaving the house. We don't know what's going on. Actually, we have to really be out here deciding if our man is. We don't know what's going on. The issue, I think this was too when we were having the conversation about DL men. It's a lot worse than what you all might think it is. And I'm speaking for my generation, right? I'm a little bit younger, and I could say off top, if you got a room of 100 people, 80% are going to be either gay or allies for the gay. There's only going to be about 20% of the people in there that are strong enough to say, nah, I ain't with that. Only 20%. And I feel very confident with those terrible numbers because I've been in those rooms and I've been the 20%. So I'm asking genuinely, what are y'all doing out here? You're leaving the house to be a man, then I have no issue being in the home, making the home place, taking care of the children, making sure that you're able to decompress from, like we were talking about, you got to stay in the car, get yourself together to make sure that you don't bring your Rugu back home with you, because I am your warrior woman and I understand what you're going through. I'm going to make sure that you have everything that you need to continue decompressing, because sitting in the car for 15 minutes, that might mentally get you together, but it's a lot more than that. You don't even know spiritually, energetically, that your Rugu is still on you. So there's a lot of rituals that need to be done in order for you to cleanse yourself from the man, right? And you need to have a woman that understands that and is spiritually powerful enough to do so without calling her a witch. Anyway, I bring this up because there's a lot of people that, and I've had personal conversations of men that feel like a woman like me would look down on them because they have like a regular 9-to-5 job. And that's really not the case. Now, if you working for APAC, then we might have some problems. I'm not gonna lie. There might be a little bit of an issue there. But you working IT or construction.
Man, that's messed up because I just applied to be security at the EPAC building.
Well, for real, you work in security, like all of these different jobs, they're like, oh, yes, you need somebody. It's not even all of that, because I'm sitting here behind, enemy lines too. Like, I understand what it is. A lot of women are understanding of what we're going through right now. That's why the 50-50 conversation has so many different angles, because when a lot of women will willfully do 50% of the rent just so that things feel balanced and the man feel like, there's a lot of women that will do that. I'm not saying this. I'm saying this is a situational thing. And if you are rolling with character, it doesn't really matter what building you walk into or who your boss is, because there's a certain level of respect. I know that my man is not going to go into this building and his boss is going to bend him over. You know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be a level of, I need to be able to look up to you, not because you are the entrepreneur that has it all together and you got the private jet. It's not about that. It's about your character. Are you a complete coward, or do you have the character that I know when you leave this house, you're going to represent the family well? That's ultimately what it is.
And let me say this, sister, I'm so glad you brought up character, because there's one thing in our community I hear a lot of sisters talk about, and they talk about this cheating thing, which a lot of times sisters ain't even in a proper relationship to be cheated upon. But oftentimes part of the problem is they have not picked a man with good character, because the cheating thing, just as an example of character, it's strictly a character deficiency. You know what I'm saying? Like if you've made a pledge to be with a woman and y'all gonna be exclusive, then to break that vow to because as a man, I'm gonna be honest. Generally speaking, not all the time, but generally speaking, it takes a lot of work to get a woman into the bedroom. Generally, right? Now, occasionally, if you're the man, you just have to show up, right? But for most men, it takes some work. So for you to have a relationship and to step outside that relationship, it takes some work for you to cheat, which means you made decisions, multiple decisions along the way, which is a sign of bad character because you know that you have already made a pledge to that woman that y'all gonna be exclusive, right? Whether it's an actual marriage or something on the way to that. But oftentimes when I hear women with their exhaustive list of like 100 things they want in a man, character is never on the list, and then they wonder why the relationship don't work. Well, the relationship don't work because one of the main things you need to be looking for is the last thing that you're looking for, or the thing you're not looking for at all. So I'm glad you brought up character. But I know you are somewhat of a unique individual, even though I don't like to give you credit like that because I ain't trying to blow your head up. But I know you
Y'all
do
heard him
think
say it, right? Y'all heard
uh,
him. Y'all heard that? Can't like give me credit.
not for that. not for that, no. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I'm gonna have to hear it again later. But anyway, but obviously, without question, you don't think like the majority of black women out here. That goes without saying. So, because if you did, we wouldn't you wouldn't even be on here. But yeah, you have anything to add to what I said about the character issue?
I mean, it goes right into the next bullet. How do we cultivate a working man character and values among white societal pressures? I think that it's possible. I know that it's possible. And every situation has its own sense of finesse. So you working a corporate job, cubicle, gotta smile and laugh in their face so that they feel like you're part of the culture and like all of that kind of stuff. That's something that can be balanced, but there's a finesse, and every situation is different. So we can't come on here and tell you what to do. You're gonna have to, look inside, look in the mirror, and really say, like, can I stay at this job where this white lady is constantly, trying to belittle me, and then go home and balance that energy with my wife who is just trying to love me, but I still feel belittled because of that little white lady that's, talked to me sideways today. That's a act that every person is going to have to do their own balancing finesse. Yes, brother.
No, I was going to say, or it probably even worse than that. Am I going to have to go to this job where I have to fend off multiple European women's advances because they know, because this is something that can happen depending on the field you're in. You can work in an environment where there aren't a lot of men, and also be an environment where a lot of women are European, and you're bringing in so much masculine energy that you automatically just attract most of the women there just because there's no competition. And that's something that's hard to navigate because you have to strategically find a way to say no. You know what I'm saying? Whether and don't tell them you single because now you ain't got no excuse. That's something I learned, right? Like people find out you're not married, it's like, oh, what do I do now? Like you literally, it's gonna sound crazy. Like you literally have to find a sister that that you're cool with and bring her to like a company event and just introduce her as your lady so they back up. You know what I'm saying? But even with that, there's always one that's like, okay, that's just a challenge. I'm gonna take him because it's European females be in competition with black women. And there are some that they'll take what I just said as a challenge. They're like, oh, that's his woman. I can take him from her. And now you probably need to start working on your resume because she's going, depending on what her position is, she can make your work life a living hell with you trying to fend her off and still do your job. So,
Mhm.
I mean, that being in that type of environment is rough. I just put it like that.
It's true. It's very true. Um, Kind of going back to, are you leaving the house to be a man or dance for the man? I'll give you a personal story of mine. Growing up in mostly black PG County, I didn't come in contact with white people really in schools or like the regular errands to the grocery store. Didn't have too many white people around me. But when I went to my father's workplace, there was a lot of white people, mostly white people. But it's intermixed. You got your Caribbean, you got your da 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 da. But it's for the most part mostly white people. And I could say with all of my heart, I promise you, I never saw my dad code switch with the white people. It was very much so like this energy of they try and call people from PG uppity, or like, oh, these Negroes, they think too good of themselves. But that's really what it is. You're not gonna tear me down because of the color of my skin. That's kind of like how it is here. So when I grew up and I saw him interacting with Yurugu in a way that was kind of flippant, I would say, that instilled a sense of pride within me to not only feel like the princess of the whole warehouse, but also to know that these people are no better than me. They're not allowed to speak to me any kind of way. And, as I grew up and older, it's like, oh, these people are trash. It was like it was levels to it. But that baseline was very, very important for me to see him leave the house and be a man amongst Yurugu. So I wanted to go in and add that in because the little things that you do as a parent, they really do add up. It counts. It certainly counts. Keeping it moving. Life is
No, I just wanted to say that I didn't know this brother you got ripped off had said can't be the side chick and claim dude is cheating on you. Yeah, that's wild. It's a lot of that going on nowadays. It's sisters going to claim a status that they have earned already knowing the rules of the game. But yeah, no, go ahead, sister.
delusion, a lack of accountability, lack of self mastery, lack of being honest with self. Next up, life is built with duality. The essence of existence requires balance, discipline, and integrity. True liberation requires space for both masculine courage and feminine power, not silencing one another under the guise of harmony. No, not silencing one under the guise of harmony. So it shouldn't have to be that the women need to be quiet in order for there to be peace in the house. It shouldn't also be the men need to be quiet so that there's peace in the house. That I'm bringing up another example of the men being cowards. There's no reason that so many black men should have been voting for Kamala Harris this past go round. That was wild. I was very disappointed because that just goes to show you really you knew she wasn't the right choice, but you did it to keep the peace in the household. What kind of man is that? How are you leading? You're not.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say this. When she said that I ain't gonna do nothing for black people, I was like, thank you for verifying what I
Oh.
already knew. Right? I was like, thank you for verifying what I already knew. Let me clip this and put it up about 8 times. You know what I'm saying?
Something that's only gonna benefit black people. No. Really
I mean, oh, that was her. The election was over right there. But nah, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish this slide. Then I'm gonna play the Lost Tapes clip so we can take a break, and
Okay.
then we'll finish up because I think it's only one or two more. I think we go ahead.
Okay. The duality in life requires both the warrior's roar and the nurturer's embrace. They're both essential for balance and survival.
Okay, no, I was waiting for you to. I thought you were gonna add on to that, but
Let's keep going.
okay. All right. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can move these forward too, but nah, go ahead.
I didn't. You want me to? I didn't know. You didn't tell me. I wasn't given that permission.
Nah, you could take charge of the slides if you wanted to, but nah, let's go ahead and deal with black powerlessness. Let's talk about it.
Okay, Black powerlessness. We having all these conversations, especially this past slide with work conversations, and what it is to be sovereign. But let's keep it real. You want your woman to let you lead. You want your woman to respect you. How much power do you really have? Should you be respected? Challenges of sovereignty. Living on the enemy's budget and tastes limits your revolutionary potential. If you're somebody like a Kanye West that feels like they can talk trash about the problem, but gets all of their money directly from the problem, you're going to have a challenge in your sovereignty. If you're somebody that has the enemy's taste, meaning you got to have you got to have the newest iPhone, you got to have the Tesla Cybertruck, you got to have all of these, all of these things coming from the enemy, you're going to have a challenge in sovereignty. Okay, I think it's Thomas Sankara, Baba Thomas Sankara, that made an effort to say that he was not going to have the newest, state of the art car, the government car to drive around. I'll ride my bike because it's my nation first. It's your family first. It's your nation first. All of these other, gadgets and things, just distractions directly from the enemy. Anyway, metrics of empowerment. So talking about what it is how are we really gauging sovereignty? We're gauging sovereignty by counting out the families that are capable of sovereign homesteading, meaning that you have land, meaning that you know how to till and produce edible food from your land, meaning that from your land you're able to protect yourself. You have enough land in order to say, okay, if the enemy comes from this direction, we're going to, like, your battle planning, you have a survival plan. Like, now we're talking sovereignty. Next up, home education to ensure cultural transmission and protection. If your child is not being given their cultural identity, then you're not talking sovereignty. You're wasting time. Next up, land ownership and survival skills. Kind of already talked about that, but with survival skills, we spoke on guns earlier. You need to be able to protect yourself. You need to be able to protect your land. You need to be able to protect your things and your family. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, not just firearms, crossbows, bow and arrow,
All of it.
flamethrowers.
All the things.
I
Mines.
get. Yeah, I don't even want to get any further than that because they they were like, "Yay!" But yeah, various various means and methods. Because now, I did a video on this. One of the problems that African people have had, and I apologize for the noise in the background. One of the problems we've had is that we have been militarily, as far as military technology, we've been lacking as far as military technology. And that's the explanation for why we are dominated the way we are dominated. So that's very important, not just from a family perspective, but from a nation state perspective.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It goes further than that. Will you be able to provide clean water for your children if they decide to turn your water off? Are you going to be able to, can you read the stars so that you can find your way to the closest water source so you can get on the boat so you can get where the next destination? Like, if you're not on survival time militarily, then why do you expect your woman to respect you if you can't protect her? Actually, spiritual capacity. Do you have the capacity to tune in and make decisions that are best for your family and for the nation at large? That can look like meditation for some people. That can look like listening to the people under you as the leader of the family. Sometimes you need to listen in order to hear about what's going on in the land so that you can make the best decision for the nation. Spiritual capacity is a larger, like, we talk about that for a while, but just in general, these are all things that add up to your sovereignty and the ability to step out if need be, moving into stepping out if need be, your liquid currency. Do you have the funds? People try and say, oh, women always want to make it about money. Women always want to make it about, a man's bank account and six figures. And it is really sad. There are a lot of gold diggers. But at the same time, you do need to be able to make moves. It doesn't have to be the US dollar. You could be well versed in what's going on with BRICS right now and putting all your money over there. You could have multiple properties in different locations. They don't even use the US dollar. There's so many different ways to go about having power. And the point of this slide, and I think there's more to it. Is there a part two? Let me see. There's part two. The point of this slide is to say, all in all, we are powerless. We really do not have power. And so the ego of men to say, oh, the women don't respect us, it's like, oh, this is not that much respect. Okay, moving on to the next one. Warriors are loudest with truth and action.
Hold up, sister. Before you go on, let me just say this. Mm-hmm. As men, we have to be honest. This is real talk right here. We talk about the black woman disrespecting us, and it is an issue. But if our children weren't being gunned down in the street and we came on crying and spitting and slobbering instead of busting somebody upside the head, I mean, if we were doing more Mike Xavier Johnson than Martin Luther King, we'd be getting more respect. So I'm gonna just say that, and I'm saying that even amongst the unconscious women, even amongst negresses, they will respect that because they respect the street dude because they think that's what he's about. But he's not actually about that in any real way that's beneficial for the nation. So I just wanted to put that out there. Do you concur with that, sister, or am I making up lies?
Absolutely. And it's not even an issue. If our children are being gunned down in the street and my man comes home crying, I'll console him, but that's not the end of the night. I don't have an issue with my man crying. I would be a little, it depends. Every man is going to go about things differently. We crying, of course, but we crying and then crying and then you on the news talking about I forgive the person that's, or better yet, like I was saying, this new generation, and not even the new generation, because it's a lot of 30, 40-year-olds out in the street twerking for the police, trying to ask the police to please stop, oppressing us. That's not respectable at all.
Hey, that's crazy. Look, hey, if you're a man and you twerking or you looking at another man twerking, I'm gonna tell you not Bun B, what's the other dude? Pimp C. He's a homosexual. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Ain't that what Pimp C said? If you doing certain stuff, if you twerking on another man or twerking, or you looking at another man twerk, Gilbert Arenas, I'm gonna play that clip one day. I found a clip. If you're homosexual, I don't care what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? I ain't,
And it's beyond just the fact that you're twerking. It's the fact that you just suffered a tragedy and that was your response. You thought that twerking was going to somehow end police violence. The we almost at the next one. Warriors.
I know the insanity of it. Right. Go ahead.
Can't do it. Warriors allow this with truth and action. Courage and testosterone correlate. There has been a drop of 25% in mean testosterone levels in adolescent and young adult men between 1999 and 2000 to 2015 and 2016. That's a 15-year difference with a 25% drop. That's a big deal. This is not all of what I said, but it's okay. I'll go back. The point ultimately is in the second part here. Courage and testosterone correlate. So there was a study recently that directly correlated testosterone levels with the ability to stand out and tell the truth, even if everybody in the room was against you. So testosterone gives a man the courage, the bravery to not only take note of wrongdoing, but to call it out. That's, science telling us what naturally already makes sense. So that it's a big deal. To lead, men must embody strength, courage, and the willingness to risk isolation and the ultimate sacrifice for truth and ma'at.
And let me say this, sister. One thing we have to say, and I know I say it all the time, that we're being warred upon. We have to understand that they're doing some things multiple scientifically. The brother Tyrone Hayes, he brought that information to us about the atrazine. I'm sure there are other things that they're spraying in the air and so forth, so on. So they're doing things to attack the testosterone in men. I think as men, we need scientists who can direct us toward things that will boost our testosterone naturally. I know back in the day, I used to take like ginseng root and yohimbe, and it was something else in maca root. I used to take stuff like that to try to balance myself out. And I'm not gonna lie, losing a lot of fat, what I'm saying, and building some muscle, that helps. Taking the herbs help, and being around other brothers that's strong, that helps. What I was going to ask you though is, you made the clip. Did you make that for the end, or when were you gonna play that clip?
Is how many more slides are there? That was gonna be for right before final thoughts.
Okay, I just wanted to know. All right, but yeah, if you had anything to add to what I said, you can go ahead.
No, that's it. Next slide. Oh, okay. All right. Well, clip it is. Or you want to do lost tapes first? I think we should do the clip first.
All right, we'll go ahead and do the clip.
Okay, let's do the clip first.
So this is a very interesting topic, and it's a very difficult topic because,
before you get started, can you state your name and where you're from?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. Right.
Okay. I'm Simone. So I would have to say, with the topic on men being cowards, I think that men, but there are some men who are cowards. Certain topics that they become cowards, like especially when it's dealing with some type of popularity, I guess you could say, they become cowards after that. Because it seems as though more for black people, and they're completely for the black woman, and then once they get all the recognition and all the love that they need, they become cowards and they stop preaching on what they've already taught everybody, and they kind of just
Status level.
Yes,
then
certain status
suddenly
level is just becoming like, I don't want to cuss, but they pretty much become like the white person's slave. Like they fought so hard to get out of enslavement just to go back the moment that the pressure gets put on them. So I feel like that's how some men become cowards.
So can I ask a question then?
Yes.
You're saying that people, they fight, they're about certain things, they reach a certain status, and then the pressure comes on them, and then they retreat. Now,
Yes.
if that's what you're saying, is it not incumbent on the community and their followers to support that person?
Oh, yeah.
So what they'll do now is they'll attack the person, then they attack them economically.
Yeah.
And so then, you know, we still live in capitalist society. The person still got to pay bills. The question becomes, as the community, are we going to support them? Say, oh, he's on it. He's under attack. We're gonna support him and keep him going. Now, at that point, the choice is his. If he retreats, then the people should retreat their support. But if he continues, I believe it's incumbent on the community to support him. Now, do you agree with that or disagree with that?
Oh, I agree with that. Because I feel like the people that you give knowledge to and employ, this is gonna happen. Like for example, Irritated Genie. What's happening with him now? There seems to be a lot of people that are just like backing down. And it's kind of like, okay, well then, how do you expect to have all these leaders times when they're really going through something? I mean, Irritated Genie hasn't changed at all, but the problem is that it's not necessarily him and what he's going through. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's a very interesting and pertinent example. Because, as I say, part of COINTELPRO is, you understand COINTELPRO, we shouldn't be involved in those things. But I just want to put that out there to what you're saying. But go ahead, sister. I'll give you a couple more minutes. The line is kind of breaking up, so I'm going to see if we can work.
We also have people like Tariq Nasheed, who was for black people. He did all these hidden colors, but like, at the same time, he's not for black people, like that they should date multi-race women. Like, that's not going to help the community.
Is that the end of the clip, sister?
That's the end of the clip. I thought it was important to play that because it was a conversation on cowards, and for it to be SBL, at one point it was that anybody can come on and talk, and I'd like to encourage that still, although I know we don't have the time today. It was good to hear that conversation, and it coincides with what we spoke on today.
Okay, brother, you got ripped off with. What question you got? I didn't use that. I didn't make that clip. The sister she found that clip.
Unaccountable.
It's somebody that he know.
So. Oh, okay. I'm like, dang. Yeah. What she say?
So no, that is yeah. So the sister found that clip. I didn't know nothing about it. It was in here when I came in here. So yes, you got anything else to add, or you want to go to your final thoughts?
On the clip, no. On the question, I'm gonna answer the question because it kind of goes along with what we already spoke on. So I'm glad that you didn't ask it during that time. The question was, and I'm only gonna do the question. I'm not gonna do the background information that you gave to me. Question was, can you explain the abusive relationships that some Black women enjoy? Brother DC said earlier that there's a lot of women that are choosing the thugs because in their mind, they're seeing the thugs as the ones worthy of respect. They're seeing the thugs as the ones that are capable are more closely capable of sovereignty than the working man or the well-educated man that doesn't understand the dynamics of the streets. They're going to see those men as not cultured, and it is a non-nuanced perspective to have. But I mean, this is generations of people, generations of women that are all trying to, mind you, we all in this struggle together. So the women are trying to figure out what's going on. The men are trying to figure out what's going on. We, hundreds of, thousands of years into the Ma'afa at this point. So nobody is seeing things as they truly are unless you've had the ability to step back and really take a breath and look at the war front, right? People like Brother DC, people like Irritated Jenny have been able to step back and really see what's going on so that they can give this information to our people. But the average person that's in the midst of what's going on, they don't know the bird's eye view of the war front. So the average woman, she's gonna look around and say, okay, this man is abusive towards me, and you didn't specify. Oh, you did specify. Okay, physically abusive, and then I guess also mentally, spiritually abusive. I don't know all of how the relationship went, so I can't speak on like the specifics, but I can speak for myself. I've been through what I've seen other women go through. The idea is that I'm gonna be with the biggest, baddest person that's gonna fight for me, even if he fight me sometimes. At least I know if the time comes, he's gonna fight for me. And that's really the like quickest bottom line of why they're getting chosen. Now I'll say I grew up with the notion of give a thug a hug, and just because a man doesn't speak proper, Euro proper, just because he doesn't have all of the degrees or he doesn't have the fancy car, just because he doesn't have all of those things doesn't mean that he's not worthy of love, doesn't mean that he's not capable of being your compliment on the war front. Has that benefited me to this point? No, but I do think that it has given me the ability to remain humble on my journey. I've traveled multiple countries and been able to receive love from all different kinds of people, all different walks of life. I've had people that honestly probably had less money than I, but because at that moment I didn't have, they were like willing to give. And it's because of the way that I was raised that your thuggishness is not going to be the reason that I, separate myself from you. Unfortunately, the way that I've been raised, you got to do a whole lot of nonsense in order for me to separate myself from you. If you're a Black man, unfortunately, as a Black woman that was raised to love Black men, you get a lot of attempts. to mess up, because the nature of women is to be nurturing and to be understanding and to be loving and to I'm here not as a servant of Black men, but I am here to help in the best way that I can. And not everybody was raised like me, but a lot of women are predisposed in that way. So I hope that answers your question.
And let me say this, and this is the issue that I have with Black women, because Dr. Weldon made it very clear. If a man isn't doing the work to help destroy our enemies. He's not supposed to get no love, right? So I'm not saying you in particular. I'm saying sisters in general and sisters in the movement, because we got a lot of sisters in the movement that got children by Negroes. Hell, I've met more sisters in the movement with children by Negroes than I met with children by actual brothers in the movement. You know what I'm saying? So I personally, let me keep it 100. Can I keep it 100? I am personally offended by that. And the reason that I am offended by that is because I know now there was a time when in SBPM, there were like, in the DC chapter, there was like almost 10 brothers, and like 8 of them, like it means 75, 80% of the brothers did not have children. But you got a lot of sisters coming to the movement with children by Negroes. And I'm just be honest, I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know everybody's individual system is different, right? That I do know. And some sisters come to the movement, like we talked about before, looking for a better class of men. But it does not encourage the men to join the movement or help us recruit, or it doesn't help us at all in any way, shape, or form. So I, for the brothers, take personal offense of y'all, not you personally, but y'all, the collective, passing on the genes of people who Dr. Welsing said should not be allowed to reproduce. I'm just gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the direct quote from Dr. Welsing at the moment, but trust me, she said it. And if not, and y'all don't believe me, y'all go home and get the book. I could bring the quote the next time if I can find it. But she did say that. In fact, I put it in one of my lectures. I might have put it in the Godless Black Woman lecture now that I think about it. You know, I need to go back to editing that because I actually got to still send that out to somebody. I'm surprised. I got so much work to do. I'm tired. But yeah, no, I just wanted to say that. You know what I'm saying? For the brothers. Because a lot of brothers don't want to say it. But we talking about here speaking the truth or whatever. So we gonna speak the truth. Why are the brothers who are warriors who are putting their life on the line, protecting Brother Genie, protecting myself, you know what I'm saying, traveling with us to other states, and you know what I'm saying, people threatening Brother Genie's life and everything else, why are they not receiving the rewards for the work? Because I'm gonna be honest, right? I told Brother Genie this. The leaders, the principles are enough for them to survive on, right? The principles and the love of the people is enough for them to survive. The warriors have to receive the spoils of war or they will fall away from the battle. The only spoils of war that are available are, like you talked about, currency and righteous women. If you don't have those two things available, I'll be completely honest. If you don't have those two things available, the warriors fall away. Oh, thank you, brother Vincent. I appreciate that. I will send you, because of your donation, I will send you as soon as I get the Dr. Chancellor Williams lecture together. I'll send that out to you. Thank you, brother. So I don't know if sisters understand that. Like, righteous women are a motivating factor in warriorhood, right? Because we know you ain't gonna make no money doing this work. Let's just be honest. You know, unless you Umar, and then you still mess it up. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? But I hate to say it, but the sincere people, because they tell the truth, they ain't gonna make no money because they gonna run half the people away. Because as soon as you start talking about brothers being cowards, the ones that really feeling guilty about being cowards, they ain't gonna come back. Now, some of the ones that want to improve, they will come back, but a lot of other ones, like, man, who that dude think he talking to? I'm talking to you, apparently, because you're the one making the most noise. So I just wanted to say that, like, I can't emphasize this enough, sister. And then I'm gonna get off my soapbox, as they say. Till next week. The black womb is the prize of planet Earth. I'm gonna say it again. The black womb is the prize of planet Earth. I'm a Dr. Umar. The black womb is the prize of planet Earth, because the gods of planet Earth come through the black womb. That's why it should be protected. But we're not trying to protect the woman and the womb for Negroes. We're trying to protect the woman in the womb for warriors. Right? And I'm telling every sister within the sound of my voice, you're too important to be reproducing with lesser than. Right? We can't have the men having discipline and being like, man, I'm not gonna get one of these bucketheads pregnant. I don't get what you say, brother. You're like, oh man, that's a decent. No, that's just she ain't in the movement. Because I know brothers like that. They're like, hey, I may get my needs met, but I ain't nowhere in the world I'm getting. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like that when I was in the nation. I'm not getting one of these. This sister she not righteous. I'm like, man, are you serious? No, sir. No. But I can't emphasize it enough. Like y'all do not, in my humble opinion, based upon actions, not thoughts, but actions, value your womb enough. We all grown, we all adults. Do sisters have needs? Yeah, I know you got needs. Hell, we all got needs. We all gotta eat, we all gotta sleep, we all gotta, you know what I'm saying? We all need love. But I'm just saying, just protect your womb from the unworthy. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? My mother told me one time, and when she said it, my eyes got big and I looked up. I'm like, whoa. She said, look, we're in the 21st century. These girls don't want to get pregnant. It's ways for them to not get pregnant. They getting pregnant by these dudes because they want to get pregnant by these dudes because they think they love them or whatever. And when she said that, and wasn't nothing else I could say. I just was sitting there like looking around like I can't argue with this. You know what I'm saying? It ain't 1968. So I'm just saying, as DMX say, give to the needy. You know what I'm saying? Not the greedy. You have anything to add to that, sister?
Not at all. What the comrade said, low key, I believe that many, actually, I put it up. I believe that many truly don't value the war or the warriors. I think many want low key and high key integration and the rewards of the system. Where the cheerleaders at? It would be me. I wanted them. Yeah, I concur. Most and everything that I said, I'm speaking for myself and other warrior women. I cannot speak for negresses. They are looking for something different. So no, they're not going to be looking to I'm gonna keep it real with you. They see people in the movement, the hoteps, quote unquote, and they associate it with being broke. They're not interested in being broke. They're interested in getting the bag, and they don't correlate the bag with the revolution. So they're not interested in men like that. That's, if we're talking about the grander woman in America and Western society, they're not interested in the revolution or the struggle. They're trying to get away from struggle. They're trying to get to their soft girl life. They're not interested in the struggle. So you're not going to find her in that way.
Oh, well, I found that out 40 years ago. So I guess it wasn't quite 40 years ago, but it felt like 400 years ago. But yeah, I mean, there are, I mean, it's not a lot, but there are sisters in the movement, and the biggest problem. I heard. I was watching a sister, and she was talking, and her brother was like, "Oh, this sister says delineates lionesses from hyenas or something to that effect." And the brother was like, "All right, well, you talking all this lioness stuff? Where the lionesses be at?" And I think that's the biggest thing. That's why I built. That's why I built the singles mixer program, because y'all be hiding out in the house waiting for Huey P. Newton to come down the chimney like Santa Claus, and it don't work that way. You know what I'm saying? Now you be out and about. So I ain't talking about you, but I'm talking about a lot of sisters. You know what I'm saying?
Don't say it like that. That was low key insulting.
No, I ain't
in the streets. Yes, you said it.
No, I'm talking about socializing. I ain't talking about out there like we used to say back in the day. I don't know. I knew you just wasn't good. Oh my goodness. I don't even know why I bothered to say that, because I knew you were going to interject. You're like, wait a minute, sir. But yeah. You said men, in order to lead, men must embody strength, courage, and willingness to risk isolation and the ultimate sacrifice for truth. I mean, yeah, I already did the isolation and did a lot of sacrificing, but I ain't did the ultimate sacrifice because I'm still breathing, because I believe I still got work to do. So when the time comes, we'll see. But yeah, ain't anything else, or we're going to move on to the last slide.
Moving on. See, brother, you got ripped off, know exactly what I'm talking about.
He got choked.
Readjust the way that you said that. Now she just be out there. That's exactly how you said it. That's and you know what? It's fine, because I'm not looking for a Huey P. Newton anyway. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll tell Huey that you ain't looking for him. Call him up tonight. All right, sister, go ahead.
Final thoughts. Many are not meant to breed. That's what we were just talking about. Many are not meant to breed. Our mission is to identify and hold on to the warrior families that will build the nation. In the landscape of straight Black love, the pickings are slim. We must hug, hold on, and invest into those we truly love, those capable of procreating productive families that uphold accountability, morality, and cultural continuity. Lack of accountability and the rise of cowardly men are two sides of the same coin. Bravery. True bravery means telling your truth even when it does not serve your ego, even when you are the only person in the room, the stadium, or the community speaking or acting ma'at. Custody over your character and sovereignty is the solution. Lastly, eat more boron. Nourish your body and mind. Increase vitality and testosterone. Decalcify and fine-tune your pineal glands. Step fully into the responsibility of leading, protecting, and building global African dominion, aka the World African Republic.
All right. Well, with that, brothers and sisters, because I agree with everything she said there. The lucha continues, the struggle continues, the battle continues, the war continues, and it's a multifaceted war. It's not the old war that Dr. Wilson had with the chessboard. We're now playing a high level game of Risk, and the winner gains survival, and the loser gets removed from the planet, and that's how high the game is. So I thank Sister Najai. Again, Sister Najai, put up all your information. Tell them where they can find you real quick on the internet or whatever.
My name is Najai, Nefer Najai, not for real Najai on Instagram and Rumble and Twitch and TikTok. My Cashapp is Nefer Najai, NeferNajai. My website, which you should browse and shop on, is realkkk.com. That's real4ks.com. And look forward to building with you all towards sovereignty.
All right. Well, thank you, brothers and sisters. I will be chopping up some videos, so look forward to some of those tomorrow and this weekend. And hopefully we'll be back on to do SBL Talk on the 25th. So I will but you'll see, just check your YouTube and you'll see. And with that, I say well, now let me see what the sister got to say. Sister, you got anything else you got to say before I close out? And you can talk as long as you want, because I'm actually trying to find the video to close out with. So have at it.
Okay. Brother, you got ripped off saying I'm she for the streets. I couldn't know. I reject that sentiment. Not at all. Just because I walk these streets does not mean I'm a street walker. He also said, I guess you need to call Tyrone. Look.
He got jokes tonight. I don't even know what you feeding into it.
Huey doesn't have the complexion is the issue ultimately. So as long as Tyrone is complexionally capable of cultivating the crew that I'm looking to conceive, then call him up. Let's do it. Please follow the Rumble account that was just posted. Asante Sana, brother, you got ripped off, because yes, Rumble is the place where I can actually post how I feel in things without getting in trouble. I tried to post on TikTok. I am also on TikTok, but I don't even really be on there like that because the Israeli government then already took it over for real. I posted one video and they gave me a strike within like 90 seconds. So I'm going to stay away from TikTok and I'm going to just stick to Rumble. Why are you laughing?
No, because I mean, I know the struggle. That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah, it's you laughing at my pain. Like, I real live put it on there and it was gone. And they gave me a strike. I've never been given a strike before. Instagram will shadow ban.
Will they? Goodness. Yeah. Instagram, man. They've been shadow banning me off and on for I don't even know how long at this point. Oh,
they definitely started shadow banning me when I was in Tanzania. I was riding on the bus in the middle of the pandemic, riding a bus, no mask, no 6 feet, no nothing. People still eating, cooked food on the street. Like, everything was great. And I was recording it to show the world, like, everything is fine. There is no COVID for real. Like, it's going to be okay. After that, it was done. I would maybe get 20 views, 30 views, if that. I'm working my way back up.
Oh yeah, nah. During COVID, they weren't playing around. They were dropping the hammer on everybody. So yeah,
it's coming back.
You got to tell me.
It's coming back.
Yeah, well, it never ended for me, but that is what it is. But anyway, I got to get out of here. So I thank you, brothers and sisters. I thank you all for listening, subscribing, for sharing. The subscribers are going up. The views tonight weren't as good as I hoped, but hopefully next week we'll do even better. But those of you who are here, we appreciate your support. And so now, with that, I'll say BB48 and straight black pride. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical1. On Twitter, we're at DC_radical_ONE. And the Cash App is $DcRadical1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A big for ODA and straight black pride.